Hi everyone, we are the IO Psych Masters. My name is Claire Mohandas and we did our research project on who works well from home. So the original research question was, how are telecommuting attitudes affected based on factors such as video conference fatigue, work-family conflict, and isolation? And the significance behind this is that these factors were apparent before COVID-19. However, since the pandemic, much more people have been experiencing telecommuting and then thus been afflicted by these factors. And so almost all people have experienced at least one of these while working. And this is significant because if it has significant research on these factors, we can help organizations better serve their workers. So we created three hypotheses for this. The first being video conference fatigue is positively related to negative attitudes regarding telecommuting, and this was based on a previous study looking at video conference fatigue during COVID-19. And then the second hypothesis is isolation is positively related to negative attitudes regarding telecommuting, and this was based off of a previous research study done before COVID-19 on general telecommuting work attitudes based on different variations of isolation factors, such as time spent teleworking. And then the third hypothesis is that work-family conflict is positively related to negative attitudes regarding telecommuting, and the rationale behind this one was also based on a different previous research study that evaluated how specific stressors of work-family conflict, such as household size and flexibility in schedule, affected telecommuting.
Hi, I'm Lila. I'm going to be going over our methods. So we use multiple recruitment strategies to get a diverse convenience sample. We first use personal networks and then use those people to then get a snowball effect and increase our sample size. We did have some constraints on eligibility, so you had to have experience with telecommuting, had to be 18 or older, and work at least 20 hours per week. And so our final sample consisted of 43 individuals who worked in a wide variety of industries, from marketing all the way to pharmaceuticals and the government. So majority of our participants were female and white with an average age of about 42 years old and who had worked in their current position for 14.31 years and worked on average a little under 45 hours per week. So in our survey, we had 4 measures that were assessed all on a 5-point scale that ranged from strongly disagree to strongly agree. So for our dependent variable, we got an alpha value of 0.895. For our first independent variable of video conference fatigue, we got an alpha value of negative 0.196. For our second independent variable of work-family conflict, we got an alpha value of 0.822. And for our final independent variable of isolation, we got an alpha value of 0.627. And we've included examples from our survey items below.
Hey, I'm Naya, and I'm going to be going over our statistical evaluation. So we used ANOVA tests to determine the statistical significance of our hypotheses. So for our first hypothesis, our p-value was 0.41 and our correlation coefficient was 0.33. For our second hypothesis, our p-value was 0.35 and the correlation coefficient was 0.17. And for the third hypothesis, our p-value was 0.05 and the correlation coefficient was negative 0.5. Unfortunately, none of our p-values proved to be statistically significant because none of them were less than our alpha value of 0.05, and none of our correlation coefficients were close to negative 1 or 1. Therefore, our hypotheses weren't statistically significant.
Hi, I'm Delaney, and I'm going to be going over recommendations and future research. For recommendations, it can be concluded that telecommuters should continue to focus on their work-life balance, since our study showed that most of the telecommuters we did our study with didn't have any negative impacts on this from telecommuting, and also there should be more emphasis placed on teamwork when telecommuting to ensure that workers do not feel isolated. As for research, more research could be done on the amount of time a person spends telecommuting rather than working in person, and also more research could be done assessing the positive impacts of telecommuting that a person could have in life. Here are our works cited. Thank you so much and have a great break.